Hey, my name is Lakeisha. Welcome back to my channel, and today we're going to be talking about US30. So in this video, you definitely want to hang out because I'm going to be talking about my full analysis. I'm going to talk about entries, exits, profit targets, and then some other things that you may want to watch out for inside of this market, especially because now we've made an all-time high. The Feds cut the rates by 50 basis points. That is 0.5%, which means that a lot of good things could happen inside of the economy because there's more money flowing, businesses can grow, all of those good things. And as you probably know, the Dow Jones makes up the top 30 companies inside of the United States based on the stock price. So let's go ahead and look at this market and try to make sense of it and see if there are some moves that we could potentially catch for this upcoming week. So let's start on the weekly time frame. And as you can see, there is a lot of bullish momentum, not just from this past week, but from the week prior. So if we look at this, the week prior, we had a lot of points. We had over 1,000, looks like 1,100 points inside of the market. And then this week was a little bit less with 610, mainly because the first few days of this week, the market was in consolidation, mainly because people were trying to figure out what was going to happen with the economy. We got the news on Wednesday. The market started to push. So for this upcoming week, I do expect continued bullish momentum. However, since we are at a now all-time high inside of this market at 42,000 roughly, the price could come down a bit, but then it could continue to push up. So there's just a couple of different scenarios that could happen with this particular market. But one thing I do want to mark off is this all-time high area, mainly because we want to see price push up above this level. So another thing that I want to mark off here is the support that I see right here at 40,100 and let's just say 79. And as we go down to lower time frames, we will refine these levels. So it may look a little weird now, but when we go down to lower time frames, we're going to get really precise zones that we're going to be able to trade from. So inside of this market, another thing I want to mark off is this level right here around, let's just say 40,569, mainly because at some point this was a resistance and I want to be able to have this as a level to trade from as well. So let's go down to, actually, let's mark off one more level. So one thing I want to mark off is this support right here. Now this week I don't anticipate price coming down to 39,330 at all, but I do want to have this marked off. So now let's go down to the daily time frame and let's make some more sense of this information. All right, we just squeeze this in a little bit. All right, cool. Now it's easier for all to see. All right, cool. So now we can see a lot more detail right up in here. And then one thing that I am seeing that I do want to adjust, I do want to move this level down just a little bit. Now this is a little bit tricky because there was a gap in here. Mainly the gap comes from the fact that when this candle started, it didn't start right when this candle closed, it jumped up and then it pushed up. So there was just a lot more orders going inside of the market than can be filled, and that causes gaps. So anyway, so I'm going to put it right here at 41,500 and let's just say 45. Nice number. And then if we look at this down here, I do want to push this up just a little bit. Just a little bit. So now we're at 40,196. And that's looking good to me. So now we got this level down here at 39,325 that I am going to move this down just a little bit. And I'm moving this down mainly because we do have 3 wicks right here in the zone. And the fact that price rejected on these daily candles 1, 2, 3 times, I want to be able to have this as a potential zone to trade from. Now, like I said before, I don't anticipate price to come down to this level this week, but it is US30. So let's just have this in our plan and just keep adjusting accordingly. So now this level is at 39,250. Actually do love that level. So let's go down to the H4 time frame and see if we can find some more zones that we could potentially trade from. So I'm just going to move this in just a little bit. And all we're looking for right now is just to make sure that the lines that we drew make sense. So this is our all-time high. That looks fine. Right now, we do have a couple support zones right in here. We do have a nice support right here. So I'm actually going to push this down. Okay, so that's looking good. I was looking at these wicks right here. So I'm going to push this down to right here to 41,476. And if we do look left, we do see price coming up and down over this level. But that's totally okay because I want to prioritize most recent price action. And this over here is the most recent price action. So now let's look at this other level that we drew. And one thing that I want to do is I do want to push this up just a little bit to 40,000, what was that, 225. And we do have this really big wick here. We may end up moving this down as we get more data when we go down to lower time frames. So let's just keep this like this is. Okay, I absolutely love this level. I love the way this is lining up with these wicks right here. And like I said before, the fact that we had 3 daily wicks rejecting the zone tells me that this is a really interesting level. So I do want to keep that right there. And I do see this here, but I don't anticipate price coming down here. But if you wanted to, you could draw a little level right here at, let me draw this over. This is around 38,570, mainly because you have all of these candles right here just rejecting all in the zone. So you could do that. I probably won't touch that anymore for right now, but just for your awareness. 2H. There we go. So now if we scoot this in, we could see that our all-time high zone looks good. This level looks good. This level, we still have this really big wick right here, but it still looks good. So I'm going to leave that alone. And then if we scoot over and down, we can see that this level is still lining up. This I'm not going to touch, but it still looks good. Now let's go to H1 and let's just go all the way to the top. So now we can see a lot more detail inside of these candles. And as you can see, it's looking really good because our line is pretty much perfect with these wicks and these candles that we've identified on that higher time frame. Yeah, we do have a candle that goes up and then down, but eventually it pushes up. You know how this market is. It's just like that. But for the most part, we're lined up with this level at 41,470 roughly. And now I'm going down to look at this because this was a really big wick. And if we look at the price right now, we're sitting at 225. But I wonder how this would look if I move this level down to about here to 40,070, 71. And that's actually looking good on this side, but let's scoot over to the left and see if we have some alignment with anything else. And actually, I'm going to drag this line out a little bit. We do see a little bit of alignment here, but let me go all the way back just to make sure that I'm still lined up. Yes, I am. Okay, great. So the alignment here is we do have our resistance. Price came up above this line, although this line did not exist before, but we do see somewhat of a support and then price pushed up from this level. So this is actually a really interesting level, the fact that we had such a big move from it. So I do want to keep this line right there. And then this has been looking good over here. We do see price kind of zigzagging up and down from this line, but overall I really do like it right here, so that looks good to me. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go to the top and we're going to come up with some tradable zones in order for us to be able to take trades from potentially from this or for this week. So one thing that I see that is very, very obvious is this level right here. So this level at, let me make this pretty, this level at 41,873. Mainly we have a support here. We do have some rejections. Let me make this bigger. Okay, so we have the support. We have 3 really nice rejections. 3 rejections here, also a support. So let's just say price is now kind of in between this level right here, and this level right here. So let's just say I wanted to take a trade. I'm not taking a trade right here. I'm waiting for price to do something. And the one thing that I would want price to do is to come back down to this level and then, oops, I don't know what just happened there. I want price to come down to this level and then I want it to bounce off and then I want it to come back up here. So that's a buying trade idea that I have. Definitely the way that this market looks now, I'm definitely bullish on it. We could see new all-time highs next week, but we just never really know. So I do want to see buys definitely above this level right here. And then if price was to go up into this all-time high territory, I'm not touching it unless I'm already in a move. And let's just say that I've taken most of my money off the table and I want to continue to move and see how it's looking. Then I may ride the train up mainly because I've already taken most of my money off the table. So this could be something else, but if we're right here, I'm not entering a trade for a buy. If we're down here entering a trade for a buy and we push up, then that's cool. But anyway, and then another trade idea that I see is potentially price coming down to here, bouncing off this level, and then at least coming up here, and then potentially coming back up here. So the reason why I say that is because if we look left and we look at this level, we can see that price tried to come up, but then it came down. Eventually it did push up, and it came back to this level, but it rejected. Let's see, we got a support here, then we also have 3 additional rejections here. Price did the exact same thing here. We got these 4 candles here, same thing here, and then eventually price went up. So this is telling me that this is a strong bounce off level, and price could potentially come back to here and bounce off. But as usual, price could also break through this level, and then it could bounce off of here. So I'm just going to draw with one of these. So I say that because basically we see the same scenario here. We see all these rejections. We see price forming little supports. We have a nice support here, and then price pushes up. So if I was taking a counter trend trade, which I'm mostly bullish on this, so probably not going to be taking a counter trend trade, but hypothetically, let's just say we're going to be buying from this level right here and then potentially selling from this level, let's go right here, this level right here. And what I would be looking for is a bounce off of this level right here. Let me line that up. And let me get my trade idea. Now this is going to be a really far place to fall, but price could totally do this because we've seen it before. Bounce off this level and then come up to, let's just say right here. It could continue to go up, but it could reject off of this level. But anyway, and then if I was interested in taking a short, I would look at this level. I wouldn't be interested in taking a long-term short. That's just me. But we could also see, let me use this price range. We could also see price bounce off of this level. Now, this is a really nice level. This is roughly 240 points, which is a really decent move inside of US30. So that would be pretty much it for me. Like, my strategy for this week is essentially waiting for buys. I'm waiting for the continuation. So I'm waiting for the pullback. I'm waiting to enter somewhere, and I'm waiting for the price to play out. So that's what I will be looking for on US30. So if you found this really helpful, then go ahead and tell me so in the comment section. I want to know that this is actually useful for you. If there's something that you had a question about, ask a question, because if it's a really good question, I'm going to answer it. And you may see a video where I may actually bring up your question and then answer it with a video. So that could be really cool because others can learn from your questions as well. So this is my analysis for this week. I will see you next week.